The people that are doing these books and doing the specials that are criticizing Jesus or reshaping Jesus or dethroning Jesus, as your new book's coming out and saying, the fact is that they know there's a host of Americans that revere and believe in Jesus as Lord and Savior. So they know if they come out with a special, people are going to tune in to see about their Lord. They're going to buy the book because if it threatens their faith, they say, well, I've got to buy the book, I've got to look at this, I've got to investigate this because I have to know my faith is based on credible information. Okay? So the Christian is trapped into supporting the very efforts of this thing by looking at the special and being informed about the topic. Is there any way for us to get out of that?
Well, I think there are two ways to look at it. I'm not sure there's a good way to get out of it in the sense of Christians have to be prepared to give a defense for the hope that is in them. The way I look at it is this, is that every time this comes on the radar screen, there's a fresh opportunity to talk with your neighbor about who Jesus is. You know, you can take the cup out of the water cooler and during the break, hey, let's talk about this Jesus and who he really is. The problem is that what we're getting is a cacophony of Jesuses. I mean, you could literally, I bet we could now, on the basis of the portraits that we have, create a Metropolitan Museum of Art of Jesus and have a different room representing a different kind of Jesus for all the different Jesuses that are being put before us. But that gives the Christian the opportunity to talk about, this is the unique Jesus. This is Jesus as he really is, and we know this because only this Jesus could generate the history that we know about coming out of the first century. It's the most credible portrait of what generated the Christian movement. And so from that standpoint, it seems to me, yes, there's a trap in one sense, but it also is an opportunity, and I prefer to view it on the opportunity side of the ledger versus the trap side, because I do think that it's given us an opportunity and an excuse to talk very easily about Jesus, whereas 15 or 20 years ago, if you brought up Jesus, people would go, oh no, that's private, don't go there. So we're actually in a much better position as a result of some of this.
Yeah. Roll through the chapters in your book that we're going to do in a few months of time that show how fast-paced the new radical theories are that are coming out about Jesus. I mean, it only goes back about a year and a half, isn't it?
Well, it's a little more than that, but we basically, what we're doing in this next book, I'm writing it with Dan Wallace, it's called Dethroning Jesus, a look at the public claims about the Christ. And we have isolated six, I have to add a hand here because of the Talpiot tomb, we've added 6 claims in the last 5 years, all of which have made the New York Times bestseller list, claims about Jesus, all of which we think are false. So, and they don't all fit together, I mean, but they are, we can't know what our New Testament really said. The Gospel of Thomas gives us the real Jesus. The Gospel of Judas shows us that there were alternative Christianities. The Jesus who preached was really a political Jesus, not a spiritual Jesus. Paul hijacked Christianity from the original Jewish movement that Jesus passed on to James. And then last but not least, we've got Jesus' bones, so we just ought to shut up shop and head somewhere else. So those are the 6 claims that we're going to look at, and we're going to analyze them one at a time. The common thread that's running through all of them is an attempt to not to eliminate Jesus, but to neuter him. And by neutering him, turn him into just another great religious figure. Our culture will embrace that kind of a Jesus pretty easily, but that's a problem for Christians because Christians and Christianity is claiming that Jesus is unique. So Christians have to be on their toes when it comes to this.